Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is October 6th, 2019. This is episode number 10 of the Mo Banter podcast. I am Mo. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Episode number 10. And just for full disclosure, even though it's not really going to matter because maybe two people out there kind of listen to anything that I do. But I had actually started doing episode 10 like 2 weeks ago, right before my dad's 63rd birthday. Yeah, 63rd birthday. My dad's 63 years old. And I started doing it, and about an hour in, I had to stop because, I had to eat dinner really late at night. And then I just never got around to it because I started thinking, I didn't do one for my mom. And doing one for just my dad seemed kind of, I don't know. It didn't seem weird. It was just one of those things of why am I devoting this much time to this dude? And it's not because I don't love my dad. I absolutely love my dad. You know what I'm saying? And I really, really, absolutely love my mom. It's just, I think it doesn't really display what traits they passed on to me and what traits I don't like from either one of them. And I just figured for episode number 10, since this is, the 10th one, and it's the milestone, you hit the 10th one, even though it's, all you gotta do is record for 10 days and you have it. I just figured I'd kind of keep the same thing where I just gonna talk whatever the fuck I want to talk about, but I did want to talk about both my parents since they both had birthdays that passed. My mom's was July 26th, which was 3 months ago, or almost 3 months ago, and my dad's was 2 weeks ago, September 24th. So I guess let's just start there. Now I'll share the most intense moments I've ever shared with either one of my parents, and then kind of what I learned, and from there kind of try to draw a picture of who I am. Not the yelling guy. Well, that's part of me too. But not the yeller, not the criticizer, because I'm going to criticize in this episode as well. But I guess let me start off with my dad, because a lot more can be explained through my dad. And there's a lot more stories than these that I'm about to share about either one of my parents, but these have been somewhat more impactful in my life, and let me know how crazy my parents are and why I'm a little bit crazy myself. So with my dad, I guess the most extreme memory that I have, and when I mean extreme, I mean just kind of damn, he really did this shit to me. So I was maybe 4 or 5, I want to say. You know what? Is it 1 or 2? No, one of them leaps into the other. So this is specifically from my dad. So I was maybe 4 or 5, possibly a little bit older, maybe 6. I can't really remember where, but I had a babysitter at the time, so I know I was fairly young. So I'm home, we're home, and I'm acting up. I remember acting up, being a crybaby over some stuff. I don't specifically remember what I was crying over, but I just remember I was just kind of throwing a fit. You know what I'm saying? Throwing a tantrum. And my dad was just shut up, shut up, shut up. And here I am not listening, just crying. And I honestly don't know how long that I was throwing a fit for. I just remember it was longer than my dad had liked. You know what I'm saying? So after him telling me to be quiet and stop crying, or also gave me something to cry about, it's what we did in the 80s, man. It's what happened in the 80s, maybe even 90s. You want something to cry, I'll give you something to cry about. So after, I'll say 5 minutes, maybe 10. I really don't know. You know what I mean? I was crying and crying and crying. I even built this little fort out of sofa cushions to cry in. You know what I'm saying? My fort of tears. The weeping fort. So I'm in there just crying out along, face down. Again, don't know what the fuck I was crying over. Then all I feel is my foot being grabbed, like in some scary ass movie, being drug out, and then being picked up by my arm like a rag doll. Because my dad is still, to this day, at 63, is still fairly strong. Back when he was at his prime, 32 years ago. So he was like 30 something when this happened. 30 something? Nah, he wasn't that old, was he? 32, 31. Damn, he was. Okay. So he was like in his early 30s, maybe late 20s, depending on where I do the math. And he picked me up by the arm. And at that time I had just gotten this new jump rope. But it wasn't like a rope. It was literally like a plastic jump rope. Like, I know kids nowadays don't know what the fuck these are, because now that we have Roombas and we have people that come by. But if anybody remembers vacuum cleaners, I mean, if you're as old as I am, or even you're just as old or probably getting there, and you live in a non-Roomba house, because everybody has drywood now. I mean, has what's his face? Has wood now, has wood paneling as their floor, so they just broom and they sweep, or they sweep and mop, so they don't broom. You sweep and you mop, and then that's it. You don't really need a vacuum cleaner for hardwood floors. There we go, hardwood floors. So I had this jump rope that was basically that. It was just very elastic, plastic, flexible rubber that you would jump over, and it was blue and sparkly. Why I asked my babysitter for that, I don't know. But I asked her for a blue sparkly jump rope, and that's what the fuck I got. So my dad holding me in one of this position, somehow, I don't know where the fuck this rope was, but he was able to wrap that rope around his hand to use it almost like a belt. And as he has me picked up by one arm, he gives me one good one. He just whips. Wow. The rope hit my legs where it hit, and continued to hit, and wrapped around and basically made a full circle around my legs before the tip of it actually whip-tipped my right thigh. So I'm going to try to be as verbally descriptive as possible. So imagine, I'm pretty sure it's I don't know. See, the thing is, like, it's hard for me to paint this scenario because anybody over the age of under the age of 25, maybe 20 won't get this, because the way we grew up is different. But if you've ever messed around in an elementary schoolyard, had a jump rope or something that was flexible like that, and then you see a pole and you're trying to whip all the rope around it, when you stand forward, you kind of whip your rope at it, and then you see it kind of tie. Imagine that. Or tetherball. I don't know if tetherball still exists, but when you hit the tetherball and it kind of wraps around the pole. Okay, imagine that. Imagine there's a jump rope. My legs are the pole, and my dad tethered balled this fucking jump rope around my legs. He only did it once, thankfully. Man, that shit was painful as fuck. To this day, even right now, and if you're not on my YouTube page, if you're not on my YouTube channel, and you're hearing this through any other things, thank you for listening. But even just thinking about that moment, I can feel the areas in my leg where this shit hit. You know what I'm saying? That's how ingrained this fucking experience is in my psyche. I can feel that shit. And it kind of itches now. It kind of itches now. But basically, so he wrapped around both legs. So he whipped and the rope hit and wrapped around both legs until it kind of just pop. But the thing is, it was hitting the whole way. He drops me. I yell out this fucking scream that I don't know how the fuck I didn't burst any walls, because I remember fucking screaming. He drops me. I go through the first door, which led into this hallway pseudo walk-in closet that led into the bathroom. I go on the tub. I like, I'm just on the fucking tub. I sit down and I'm just like, ah, 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 and I'm whimpering, like I'm shaking. I'm in so much fucking pain, and I can remember this still. I'm shaking because I'm in so much fucking pain, and I'm just like trying not to rub my legs. It hurts to rub, and I'm just trying to like, and I'm just like screaming. I'm like, ah! My mom comes walking in. My mom was present for this, but it was, it was also quick. Like, what was she supposed to do? She comes in, she's like, let me see your legs. I'm like, no, let me see your legs, no. She's like, let me see. Somehow she's getting mad at me, even though I got my ass whooped. It's the 80s, man. So I'm right here trying to take off my pants, and I lower my pants, and I expose the part of the thigh where, like, because it hurts so bad to even pass my pants through them. Because when I was young, my parents didn't really buy me pants all the time. They just assumed that, like, they were good to go for like 3 years. So these motherfuckers were tight. You know what I mean? I was a big kid, and I remember these pants still being fucking tight as fuck. I don't know what the hell was up with my parents, but I guess because we grew up in a what the fuck? Sorry, my bad. I thought my window was open. I was like, what? My window's never open. Where was I? Oh, since we were growing up in like West Hollywood neighborhood, around that time the Marisol Latrucha came by and started, like kind of taking over the spot. We had some tagging crews there, and we just had some crews around, you know what I'm saying? And the typical dress code for those crews or whatnot were like baggy pants, usually Dickies or Ben Davis or something like that, the white shirt, whatever the case may be. But, they always revolved around loose pants. Even if you had jeans, you had some loose ass jeans. So, like my mom wanted to go the opposite end, so I would never even be affiliated with that in the neighborhood. So they bought me some tight ass pants. So I got whooped with tight ass pants, and then I'm trying to take off these tight ass pants to show my mom, like my legs. So I pulled on these tight ass pants, and I just recall seeing 2 purple ass welts literally go across and around my leg with a little notch, like right on the upper part of my right thigh. Or if I'm looking at my right thigh, because that's where the belt had come around, and that's where the tip had hit. The tip of the belt, kind of like a whip. Bah! Left a nice little knot right there. The only part that wasn't infected was the 2 parts between my legs, or my inner thighs, because they were touching each other. Therefore, they were not exposed to the rope. My mom starts kind of like bawling, dreaming, how can you do it? She goes out there. She goes, look what you did to my baby. Come and see. My dad was kind of upset. I don't want to go look. He should have listened. And sorry, this big ass argument about how they're disciplining me. A funny thing is, that was the last time my dad ever hit me like that. He only hit me once more. I was like maybe 12 or 13, because me and my brother were just calling each other stupid, and we're just kind of irritating him. He had a big ass headache. But it took him 8 years, roughly 8 years, to even think about striking me again. I never understood why, because growing up, like, especially in my neighborhood, in my hoods, it was always like, oh, wait until your dad gets home. Wait until your dad gets home. Ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like, every mom would say that to the kids, except for my mom, because my mom didn't give a fuck. My mom would whoop my ass personally right there, then tell my dad, knowing that at this point, since this ordeal had happened, that that my dad wasn't gonna fucking hit me. I don't know what was talked about. I don't know anything that was talked about. Like why I never got threatened that way. Why it was never, ooh, until your dad gets home. Because everybody else, like all my friends, all my homies, when they were acting up and they wouldn't listen to their moms, it was always that, ooh, until your dad gets home. And I recall seeing some of my homies get their ass beat when their dad got home, and that shit was crazy. I didn't have to worry about that. But this was the last time when I was small in that jump rope incident that my dad actually like hit me up until I was like 12 or 13. And even when he hit me when I was 12 or 13, it was like an easy like pat on the thigh that didn't really hurt, because I was already too fucking big for this. You know what I'm saying? And My dad confessed to me, I think shortly after that. And I think he was pretty drunk. I recall him being drunk when he confessed this to me. And because of the way it started, I remember him being drunk. Mo, what's up? I was sober. I was 13, 14. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Do you remember the time when I hit you? When I heated to you with a jump rope? It was like, yeah, kind of hard to forget that. You know what I'm saying? He goes, Mo, I'm sorry. It took him like at this point, 12 years, 11 years, 10 years, 10 years. Oh, we'll give it 8 to 10 years to apologize for this action. But he apologized. He was like, look, I'm sorry. I don't know if you noticed, but since that day, I never hit you no more. And I was thinking like, fool, you hit me like last year. What the fuck you mean you haven't hit me since? You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't going to call him out on it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, he probably doesn't remember. It wasn't even a spank. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I was punched in the arm harder than that. And I was bullied harder than that shit. So I'm not going to take that shit as a fucking spanking. Whatever. I was like, yeah, I kind of did notice. You know what I'm saying? That you didn't spank me, anymore after that. You usually just yelled at me or told me stuff, but you didn't spank me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the other case, my mom was fucking whooping my ass. You know what I'm saying? And all deserved for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Old school mentality, man. You spank your kids. I don't take anything ill from it. To be honest, I'm kind of glad my parents spanked me. To be perfectly honest, I'm glad my parents spanked me. And he goes, that day, I hated myself for a long time because I didn't want to see you hurt when your mom came out and yelled at me. But I remember seeing you walk to the bathroom in your underwear. Because back in this, we all wore fucking tighty whities, and I wasn't wearing shorts around the house. Fuck that. I was in my fucking tighty whities just walking around whenever I was home. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to be comfortable, Dun, dun, dun. He goes, I remember seeing you walk to the bathroom and you had these purple marks in your legs. And I just thought to myself, oh, God, can't believe I did that to my son. He goes, that hurt. That hurt deep inside. He's like, that's why I never hit you again. All right. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for not whooping my ass again with the jump rope. And it wasn't until I got way older that I realized how much effort that took for him to admit. You know what I mean? Because we live in a world, in a society, an American society, where accountability is something that a person does not want to take on upon themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's always somebody else's fault. It's always some reason why you act the way that you act, and it's nothing to do with you acting the way that you acted. And it wasn't until I started working where I realized, like, the learning experience that was for my dad. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, my dad is straight old school. You know what I mean? Like, my dad grew up in Guatemala, and over there, like I said, like right here, like, I don't know if they still do over there, because this whole, like, not spanking your kids seems to have been becoming, like, a global phenomenon. But, like, him growing up, he got spanked all the time by my grandma. You know what I'm saying? To the point where, and I think this is probably the reason why he apologized to me. This one experience that he had told me about. My dad has a scar on, like the left, is it the left side? Yeah, the left side of his like his double chin. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what you would call that area between your chin and your throat, like that in between, or where like the double chin builds up, like all the little fat, like you get your doubles and your triples in there. So he has a scar on the left side, and I always saw it as a kid. Never asked. I never asked why. I would touch it. I never asked why. And it wasn't until after he had hit me this way, and even before he apologized to me for this, that he had told me. He's like, oh, you know, because I was touching it again, because I remember saying, I was like, I want to touch it. He's like, you want to know how I got this? I was like, yeah. He told me, he goes, okay. So when I was younger, he goes, around your age, I was messing around with my brothers, and, you know, your grandma was telling me to calm down. I didn't listen. And she's hanging up the clothes. And he goes, when they hang up the clothes in Guatemala, we have these bamboo poles that they cut a V into, because like that, like the V shape, you can put the rope right in the middle. So, you know, you have this bamboo pole, you kind of cut the edges so it sits properly, and the tension of the rope that you have tied up, you just stick right in the V, and that keeps the pole in place. That way the line doesn't sag all the way down. You have some support there. So like you have these little bamboo poles that are cut to fit, and then you cut to fit the little rope in between the V. He goes, so I was messing around, not listening to your grandma, and she told me to come here to help her do the clothes. And I was like, nah, you know, she was busy. I knew she wouldn't leave, so I was messing around. And I would come close, pretend to help her, then run away, come close, and grandma got mad, said stop doing that. I didn't listen. I did it one more time. So your grandma, when I ran away this last time, she got one of the poles. She took it from the ground, and then one thing, she swung it, and she tried to hit me with it. But the thing is, he goes, the thing is, she didn't hit me. She just got me right here on the throat. Just suck, slash, as my dad says, sass. There's this shit, sass. And he goes, and they got me right in the throat. He goes, I fell to the ground because I was shocked, and it kind of hurt a little because it cut me. And I'm holding my throat, and a lot of blood started coming out. He goes, your grandma started crying. She thought she had just cut my neck, and she thought she had killed me. She was on the floor with napkins and just, you know, just crying in agony, like, you know, like she had just killed me. You know, and thankfully, no, it just got me right here. I bled, you know, I bled a lot, but it was okay. You stopped the bleeding. And he goes, to be honest, that was probably the last time your grandma hit me. You know, so, and then it kind of comes full circle into everything. And I guess once I got older, it sunk in, you know. And at this point, when I really had started working and everything, I had been thinking about fatherhood for a bit. You know, like, I don't know what kind of fucking weirdo I am, but, you know, like, I was thinking about fatherhood, you know, 18, 19, 20. You know what I'm saying? Because, I don't know, I thought kids were dope. You know what I'm saying? I thought having babies and shit was dope, you know. And to be honest, I needed a reason to live, to be honest. You know, I didn't like my life prior to me having my son. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? And I get to this whole point of like, okay, I get it. So my dad confessed this. He got hit by his by my grandma, by his mom, with a bamboo thing, and got like a scar on his neck. She pretty much broke down right there on the spot and apologized to him. But my dad, being a man, a guy, we don't apologize for shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do, but I'm just saying in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm casting a blanket here. Guys, we don't. You know what I'm saying? We always think we're fucking right, and we're not taking accountability for our own fucking actions. I mean, those are just the facts. You know what I mean? I do because of, you know, like the way my dad had taught me to fucking, you know, stand up and be a man. Take responsibility for your shit. What's the worst that's going to happen? But anyways. And he hit me with the jump rope. And that was his. And I guess to a lesser degree is like you don't know where the line is until you cross it. You know, it sucks that I had to be the person that taught him this lesson. But you know, it is what it is. And I say all this to kind of say this, like, I'm not gonna lie, I have spanked my son 4 times in his whole fucking life. And I know I've spanked him 4 times in his life because I remember each time. He was still fairly young most of the part. I think the last time I spanked him, he was like 4 or 5. Again, really young. I'm not, you know, like, I'm not proud of hitting him. and I never hit him the way that my dad hit me, or even that my mom hit me. It was usually just one clean one, right in the thigh and the butt. Bah, calmado. And over some dumb shit, you know what I'm saying? Him growing up, him not listening, you know, as a little kid, you know, and it wasn't always like, you know, full force, because I mean, fuck, like, I was pretty, you know, like, I'm pretty strong, and hitting my kid with full force was just enough for him to feel it, enough for him to feel the pain, and just get the calm his way. You know, but I remember hitting my kid and me not liking it. Like, it's not a thing that I like. You know what I mean? But it's a thing that I felt was necessary because he needs to know, like, look, man, this man loves me. I've told my kids since day one, like, he's my soul. You are my soul. For me to spank you, like, that shit hurts. That shit hurts, man. So I remember hitting him. I probably haven't spanked him since he was like 4 or 5. And I think the closest I came to spanking him, he was probably like 8 or 9. And I recall the moment I was going to do it. And then me remembering why I didn't do it was because when I grabbed him to spank him, the fear in his voice of being hit by his dad, that shit hurt. That shit fucking hurt me, dude. I'm not gonna fucking lie. Seeing his face and hearing his cries not get spanked by me, right there in that moment, I was still angry because of the way he was behaving. But hearing that and seeing that was too fucking painful for me, man. Even thinking about it now, I'm tearing up thinking about it. It was just too fucking painful for me, man. I couldn't fucking do it. I couldn't. To think that your kid has that much fear from you, man, just... That's just fucking crazy. Like, you know, like, you always see these shows and they go, you know, this is gonna hurt me a lot more than it's gonna hurt you. I never thought that shit to be true. I never thought that shit to be possible. But it did. You know? It did. So I never spanked him again. Have I yelled at my kid? Fuck yeah, I've yelled at him because he fucking needed it. Have I threatened my kid? As he's gotten older, I have. Not because I want to hit him, not because I want to spank him. Because at this point, man, he's 14 years old. I'm not fucking spanking my kid. I'm not. But the screaming at him, the threatening at him, and maybe this is a psychotic way to look at it. This is going to be his fucking life when he leaves the house. You know what I mean? It's going to be his life. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be good times. We give my kid a bunch of great times. You know what I'm saying? He went to a trip in NYC. He's about to go to Ireland early next year in March as part of his band trip. And... you know, and other things. You know, he has access to consoles, computers, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? He lives a pretty good life. At least I would like to think so. But at the end of the day, I can't let this be the only experience that he has, because I do love him to death. If I feel he's being disrespectful, not to me, because to me, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I don't care. I've told him this. I've told him this to his face. I'm like, look, man, if you want to pop off, if you want to talk shit, if you want to be disrespectful, man, be disrespectful towards me. But just realize that if you talk shit to me, I'm going to talk shit back to you, and you better be ready for that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I've had a lot of time to learn how to talk shit. So if you want to learn how to talk shit, and you want to practice on me, by all means, go ahead. But know that I'm going to pop you back with it. I'm going to hit you fucking hard with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't come at me with fucking jokes and try to fucking clown, nigga, because you about to get clowned yourself. You know, so I've told him that. But when it comes to a point of him being disrespectful to his mom, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. Because I can't allow that to be a thing. I can't have him disrespecting his mom at home and then thinking it's okay to talk to other people this way in the streets, especially other females. You know, like the respect for me, the respect for females that you have is out there is because you were taught to respect females. And you can go, yeah, but you gotta respect men. Look, man, as a guy, if I get disrespected by another guy, it's like, look, man, I won't be chill as fuck. But at some point, if you keep disrespecting me, I'm going to pop your ass. Those were the lessons that I learned. Those are the lessons I pass on. My kid is not as physically, I guess, gifted as I am or talented as I am. Trying how to throw a punch. He has this humor. He doesn't really talk shit to nobody, so I don't think he's gonna pop off. And he's been bullied. I've talked about that before, and I tell him how to handle his shit. He's never had to be physical with anybody, which is good. You know what I mean? But at some point, there's gonna be some scenario where he might have to be physical with the guy. Just how it is. But if he pops off first and somebody punches him, that's on him. Don't fucking pop off. People are gonna fucking, they're gonna fucking smack you. But when it comes to a female, it's like, man, don't go out there disrespect them just because they're females. And I think that's something that is not taught enough sometimes. I tell him, but if he disrespects his mom, it's a whole different scenario. Those are the areas in which I have to threaten him at some point, because there's been times where I think he's passed the line with his mom. So, I have threatened him. I have yelled at him. Haven't hit him since he was like 8. Or no, since he was like 4 or 5. And the last time I tried was when he was 8, and that happened. But, like, for my grandma, the line of too much discipline was the bamboo. For my dad, it was the rope around my fucking legs. And for me, it was that moment right there. That was the line. You know what I mean? So even from a bad situation, after my dad explained everything to me, and after my dad explained why that event happened, me absorbing it, kind of learning from it, and kind of always thinking about it, I realized what the line was. That was a line. That was a line to me. I couldn't see that amount of fear or hear that amount of fear from my kid about me. And that was the line. So that's where I drew it. Ever since then, I've been more open with my kid. I've been talking to him. Yeah, like I said, I've yelled at him. I have threatened him. But I haven't physically hit my kid, in the last 10 years or so. Yay, me. I'm not looking for praise or anything like that. And if you want to fucking condemn me for doing it, look, man, everybody has their own way of learning parenthood. It's not the fucking easiest way sometimes. And I learned and I did things that I thought were correct because that's the way I was raised. I was raised with spanking and yelling and all this other shit. Something that I thought was correct until I saw that moment, and I just, I didn't want to do that shit no more. And now from this point on, it's just me trying to raise my kid, the next 4 years to become the best possible adult that he can be before he decides to leave for college. That's his plan. I want to make sure that he's prepped and he knows how to talk to people and he's not out there caught aware that, you know what, for the shit that you say and the shit that you do, there's going to be some fucking consequences. So just be smart in the shit that you say and be smart in the shit that you do. So that's how I took that whole learning experience from getting my ass whipped with the fucking jump rope. But now, since that was the most extreme case of shit that happened with my pops, I believe. Pretty sure I shared stories of some other shit, but I think this was probably the most extreme. Going to the opposite of that, the best moment I ever had with my dad. It's probably gonna be a lot shorter than the 30 minutes I spent talking about me getting my ass beat. My dad was always one to live in the moment. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I live now sometimes. I don't really like to plan shit. Because if you plan shit, especially shit that's like 2 or 3 months away, and you don't get any closer to it, and then you don't get to do it, that's just like 3 months of hyping yourself up for disappointment. So I just don't do it. I haven't been in a position where I can do some shit like that. You know, monetarily, financially, I haven't been in a position where I can be like, yeah, we can put this money aside and we'll have it there for 3 months so we can go vacation. No, I'm not that successful. You know, I've been successful enough where I get lumps of money sometimes, either via income taxes or at times before this part, bonuses. Be like, hey, let's go to Vegas for a weekend, or let's go here for a weekend, or whatever the case might be. Like that, those are the moments that, you know, that I have. You know, spontaneous moments of me getting money, going, okay, the bills are covered. We have this shit. Let's just go enjoy it while we have it. I learned that from my dad. And the one moment that encapsulates that for us, and we just talked about this over his birthday because we were talking, and he brings it up all the time, and I think about it all the time because it was honestly like one of the best fucking moments I ever had in my life. My dad has always been open to taking me to the park, spending time with me. You know, playing basketball, baseball, handball, racquetball, tennis. I think the only thing he didn't play with me was like golf because, you know, you need expensive equipment for fucking golf, and guess who the fuck has the golfer? I do. Out of all the fucking sports, he has to pick golf. Anyways. You know, so we went to the park, and this is right before we moved to Long Beach. So this was honestly like one of the last times that we actually played football together like this, the way we used to. You know, and it was just basically throwing off the ball and running across the field and trying to score touchdowns and not being tackled, or, you know, self snapping it to yourself and then having the other person count, you know, 5 Mississippis and rushing you and trying to see how you get around him. So, you know, we went out and played football, and it was spring. You know, it must have been like March or April. It was spring because we wouldn't go in the fall. We wouldn't go in the winter because it was just too fucking cold. And then the fall kind of varied sometimes because it would get dark really, really fast, and sometimes the lights wouldn't turn on in the parks, so we'd have no way to play. But in the spring, you know, when there was like baseball season, basketball season, like the lights would be on and it'd be a little bit warmer and whatnot. So we would usually go in the spring. And, you know, we wound up going to the park, played some football. And again, it's spring. Like it was like 70 degrees at night. You know, it was still kind of warm, you know, or at least nice. You know, it wasn't like warm, but it was nice. We're playing. We were there maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and we play it. All of a sudden, fucking a storm. We didn't think about it. We didn't see any fucking clouds. We didn't really think it was going to rain. All of a sudden, just downpour. Just like literally like somebody had just squeezed a sponge over us. You know, like a big sponge, just and just wetting it. And my dad goes, let's go. I'm already wet. I'm like, nah, Dad, let's play. You know, they play football in the rain. Let's go. Okay. and we stayed there playing football. You know what I'm saying? We stayed there playing football, man. We went out, played. We couldn't even really throw the ball because it was wet. We could hardly catch the ball because it was wet. So we you know, made up little simple rules so we can get around that. And we played. And we played for like another like 20, 25 minutes in the rain, being tackled and tackling each other on the floor. And it was fun, man. It was probably one of the best days in my life. You know what I'm saying? Playing football in the rain with my pops. Always up for it. you know, and I guess that's the balance, you know what I'm saying? Because me and my kid, we haven't had moments like that. And it's not because I don't want moments like that. It's just I try to get him to play football, try to get him to play basketball, baseball, and sports that I was more into. He's just not interested. Nothing I can do about it. But when it comes to his golf, you know, I'm there for him. I'll support him. I picked up the game just so we could play sometimes. You know what I mean? But to me, man, that moment with my pops was like one of the best ever. You know, learning to live in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Shit can never be perfect. But if you're already somewhere, you're already doing something, just fuck it, man. Just go for it. Just live in the moment. Live in the moment that is that part of life. And that's what we did. And that's what I try to do sometimes, you know, when I can, you know. It's a little bit different now than it was back then. Feels like it's a little bit harder to try to get moments like that. No, but I've had times with my kid where we just fuck it. Like we went one time we went Pokemon hunting in the park, and I guess this will probably be the equivalent to my kid. We went to this big ass park that's like 2 miles down the road, Miles Square Park, I think it's called, maybe 3, maybe a little bit further down. But I think it's called Miles Squares Park, and we went Pokemon hunting, and we just went around the whole fucking park. I was like, "Are you sure you want to go this far?" Like, yeah, let's go. Let's go then. If my kid wants to walk we walked 7 miles out because we got to the park at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and we didn't leave until like maybe like 8 or 9. And in that 4 hours, we had walked like 7 miles. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a lot that we walked, and we walked the fucking grip. That's what he wanted to do. So I was like, all right, you know what? Fuck it, let's go. Let's go hunt fucking Pokemon. As we hunt around, we're climbing over shit. He actually scraped his calf on a sign. Cause I'm showing him how to do fucking how to be a fucking what the fuck do you call these people? Not a fucking troublemaker, doing travesuras, you know, just causing them to just not use his most common sense and just do shit, you know what I'm saying? So we jumped over this wooden gate that had a sign and skinned his leg. I'm like, man, let's go. He's like, I'm like, hey, you want to leave? I'm like, no, let's keep going, let's go. So we hunted like another hour with this fucking gash in his leg. I'm thinking, fuck, I don't think we have alcohol at the house. Like, what the fuck do I do? Come in, we have like some peroxide. Man, I had some tequila or some vodka. I had some vodka. I don't really drink a lot of vodka. Here you go. rubbing this cut with some vodka. Put some hydrogen peroxide on it, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? That was it. And sometimes he'll bring that up. You know, I'm like, hey, Dad, remember that time we went Pokemon hunting and I got cut in the leg and you put vodka on my leg? Like, yeah, that was fun. You know, unfortunately, we haven't been able to do stuff like that over and over again. It's just been too busy, man. Like, the price of having a kid that's really good at a bunch of stuff and you trying to support him doesn't leave time for moments like that. You know, but I don't want to take anything away from him because the experience that he's having playing golf, being part of his band, yesterday's of which he played with his high school band, and they actually won first place in their Division 6A, you know, Kennedy High. They won first place yesterday at their show, which was for me was just a very exciting moment for me to see him, you know, for him to experience that. For me to watch that, for me to see him perform with his high school band and be like, damn, okay, you know, maybe I don't get the moments that I want in terms of like how I want them to happen, you know, football in the rain or even Pokemon hunting, you know, like even that's going to be the moment, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be the moment. But I do get a lot of moments with him, you know what I'm saying? Seeing him perform choir, seeing him perform in band, seeing him perform in talent shows, seeing him perform in front of his school, then like hearing the school go crazy for his performance. I'm like, damn, like that shit is fucking crazy, you know, like that's my kid. So in that sense, I get all the moments that a dad could ever ask for. I do. I get a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's just unfortunate with the circumstances of me having to work how I work and wanting to provide more for my family is somebody has to miss, and that somebody is usually me because I have to be at work. But I do get my moments, and that's something that I learned from my dad. Like, wherever the moments come from, get them, take them. You don't know when you're going to get another one, man. Don't be so close to now want to do the things that he wants to do because you might miss something. So I'm at every golf tournament, that I can possibly be at. I'm there for the losses. I'm there for the wins. I'm there for the victories. I'm there for the tears. I'm there for the cheers. I'm there for for everything else. Those are the moments that I've lived, and those are the moments that I fucking love, and those are the moments that mean everything to me. That's the reason why I work, is for me to see those experiences, good or bad. I get to see those with him. I get to experience those with him. I get to learn more because of him. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully he gets to learn because of me. But yeah, that's me and my dad in a nutshell, pretty much. He provided me the worst experience of my life and probably one of the best experiences in my life. Well, one of the best lessons in my life. Now we go over to my mom's side. I doubt I'm gonna spend this much time. It's not because I don't love my mom. I do. It's just our relationship is completely different. You know what I'm saying? My mom was the one that came home, cooked dinner, did a majority of the housework, did all that stuff. So when she had a second to herself, man, she didn't want to go fucking nowhere. You guys are going to the park? Okay, cool. I'm in the cooking dinner. When dinner's done, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna stay. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? So when my dad would come home, my mom would already be cooking dinner. And, she'd take a little break as much as she could. She'd still clean the stove. And I'm like, what the fuck you clean the stove? You just cleaned that shit like 2 days ago and you only cooked once. Like, stop. But, she would clean the stove. She would clean the plates, go in the bathroom. And there's only 3 of us. And she cleaned that shit like every other day. That shit was always fucking clean. But, she did what she had to do. That's what made her feel important. That's what that's what she felt she needed to do to take care of her family. So that's what she did. So me and mom don't really have the experiences like me and my dad do, but we do have a few. And I guess one of the first ones that I saw from her, and I carry on to this day, is just how far are you willing to go to protect the one that you love? That being me. So again, we travel back in time, and I was like maybe 4 or 5, give or take. Yeah, about 4 or 5. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just me having a weak bladder, or maybe the way that my mom was raising me at the time, where she wasn't forcing me to be potty trained. But I had a very bad bedwetting habit. You know what I'm saying? Especially in those early years. I just wouldn't get up. I would pee the bed like all the fucking time. To the point where they would put me in diapers. My mom got tired of fucking trying to dab up pee from my bed almost every night, so she put me in fucking diapers. Right? And sometimes it got so bad where she was like, just put diapers on now. And the thing is, like, when the diaper was on me, and I fairly remember this because I remember being like, damn, this is, like thinking like I'm too old to be wearing this shit, but still wearing them. I would wear diapers when I was like 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? The biggest size they had, size 6 Huggies, like they would still fit. So, I would buy diapers, and when they would put diapers on me, I would pee in the diaper because I thought it was just, why the fuck do I need to go to the bathroom? I got a diaper right here, just throw this shit away, put another one on. Little kid stupid mentality. You know what I'm saying? Well, not stupid mentality, but just that's the way we put shit together. Diapers on, pee goes in the diaper, pee in the fucking diaper. But my dad was the type where like, nah, he's too old for diapers and So one time, it was still fairly early, I pee in the diaper. and I tell my parents that I peed in a diaper. My dad got really upset at the time. He picked me up, put me in the tub, and then turned on the water. Now, he claims that he turned on the hot water. This is in the fucking 80s. Alright? I know nowadays, most apartments, for the most part, we live in an okay neighborhood. I mean, you probably still feel this if you live in the hood, because this is how it is. Buildings up there are not really the best for a lot of shit. The first 10 seconds or so, depending on where you are, and again, this was in the fucking 80s, so it was probably like 20, 30 seconds. It doesn't matter if you turn on the hot water. The first thing that's going to come out of that motherfucking faucet is ice cold water. Like freezing ice cold fucking water. So I pee my diaper. My dad's upset. He picks me up, puts me in the tub. Now again, he claims that he turned on the hot water. This shit was fucking cold. This shit was fucking freezing. I fucking yell out a screech. More high pitched than that shit, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't even fucking a screech. It was more like that's more like a baby bleep, but that's kind of like more of the pitch that I hit. And I'm fucking like screaming and because it's just cold. And my dad was like, calm down, I told you not to pee your diaper. And he's trying to wash me up. All I hear is boom. I see my dad go flying from the middle of the tub, because he's standing over me, from the middle of the tub into the fucking wall. This must have been like a cool like 2 feet. Easy. Like easy 2 feet. 2 feet? Yeah, at least 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 18 inches. But he traveled. And I look up, I'm like, holy shit. Like, you know, my little brain is trying to think, like, what the fuck just happened? And my mom's right there. Don't do this to my baby. That's the way that shit sounded. I don't know if that's the way it was, but that's the way this shit fucking sounded. She's standing right there huffing and puffing like a mama bear, just. And my dad was looking at my mom like, you must be fucking crazy. And she was. She did not give a fuck. Her baby was in a tub of cold water, fucking screaming and bleeping like a baby goat. And my dad just looked at her in astonishment, and he huffed and then walked out. And my mom's like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, mom. It's just cold. I'm like, okay, get out really quick. And she starts heating up the water. She puts me down. And she goes, Monito, you know you're too old for... Well, this is all in Spanish. I guess I'll say it in Spanish and I'll translate it in English. She goes, Monito, tú ya sabes que estás muy grande para los diapers, ¿verdad? And she was basically telling me, like, Monito, you know you're too old for diapers, right? And I was like, yeah. So can you try to learn how to pee in the thick and not pee in your bed? Okay, mom, I'll try. I'll try, mom. And she went, you know, she baited me because obviously I had pissed myself, even though it was diapers. You know, it stays there. You know what I'm saying? You don't think about it as a kid. But like that moment sticks with me because it was like, damn, like my mom is a fairly small person. When she had me and I was 3 or 4, she was probably like 120, 125, maybe. You know what I mean? And she's 5'2", 5'3", some shit like that. So she's a very tiny, she's just a very tiny woman. You know what I mean? Very, very tiny woman. And my dad at the time was 5'8", 5'9", 155, 160. But like this dude, you know, even to this day, he's still for a 63-year-old man, he's still fairly solid. But back when he was young, this dude had a legit ass fucking body. Like I just remembering the dude had biceps. He had, you know, like he had a 6-pack for a little while until he stopped working on it. But he always had flat abs. You know, like fucking rock hard pecs. Like, you know, like his legs were cool because he was a jogger. He was a boxer. He was all these things. So like he was fucking built. Like this dude could fucking hit somebody. You know what I mean? Like he could pop somebody. And he told me stories of when he popped some people's. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't pop my mom. You know, thankfully. But you know, like he could have, and my mom didn't give a fuck. My mom was like, "Oh hell no, he's doing this to my baby. I'm fucking this dude up." And man, she charged this motherfucker. I still remember this fool fucking flying and hitting the wall. That shit was crazy to me. I was like, "Oh fuck." But that's where I get this whole like I'm gonna take care of my people's mentality. You know, like I will fight the fight for my people's based off of what I learned from my mom. You know what I'm saying? If you care enough about somebody, something, you know, do something about it. At that moment, I mean, for better or for worse, don't worry about the fucking consequences. If you feel that you need to do something that you feel is right, you fucking do it. Fuck the consequences. Deal with that shit afterwards. Whatever the consequences may be. But if you care about something, you care about somebody, someone, something. Do what you think is right to protect that person, that something, that someone, that somebody. Protect it. If it causes problems, it causes problems. Fuck it. But you did what you had to do. That's what I learned from my mom. And in that moment and going forward, because my mom had a lot of moments like that. You know what I mean? And I guess the part in which and that was like probably like the good moment with my mom. You know, like I had a lot of great moments with my mom, and part of them, and I guess I'll split them out. When I was 17, I was doing really bad at school. Didn't even really finish high school, to be honest. Like I got my diplomas through other means, but it wasn't like through traditional school means. You know, she got me a Mustang, a 2001 Mustang, I want to say, brand new out the fucking dealer. She was hoping it would motivate me to go to school. That she just motivated me to ditch more. So I ditched all the fucking time because I had a car and I had a way to actually go further than before. You know, but the car was a nice gift. I remember her coming home and just thinking this was the right thing to do. And I remember crying about it. Fucking dope. And it's just these are the things that my mom does, you know what I mean? And she didn't stop there. You know, we'll fast forward 16 years later. Where am I at now? No, about 18 years later, give or take. You know, I was borrowing a car from my dad because I don't have a car. Like I legit don't have like a car. I've been going to work for the last like 4 or 5 years for the most part on public transportation. For how long it is. And again, another thing I learned from my mom is money needs to be made. You need to take care of your family. You better get to fucking work. You better find a way to get to work. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's going to offer you money for a job, then you better fucking find a way to get there. And public transport is the best way I know how to get there. So that's what I do. And about a year or two ago, we were at my cousin's house for, I don't recall what, maybe a birthday party. We started talking and she was asking, what car are you driving? I'm like, I don't know, my dad's Mercedes. It's giving us problems, but you know, it works. It works for the time being. Like, you know, you need a more reliable car. What about for Nathan? What can I do, Mom? Like, I can't afford a car. Like, I can't. Like, I literally can't fucking afford a car, Mom. Nah, but you can't be blah, blah, blah. Mom, I can't afford a car. The next day, me and my wife had tickets to go try to do this haunted house they had in Hollywood. We get to the car doesn't start. It's fucking dead. The battery died. Didn't know what to do. I was like, fuck, we're over here fucking arguing over this whole thing, how we're gonna get to this fucking place and everything else. I was thinking about how the fuck I'm gonna get to work, because at that point I think I was at least being dropped off at work sometimes, and more likely like what's gonna happen with with Nathan, with our kid, because he needs to go to school. He has all these things that he needs to do. So the very next day, that I believe it was a Sunday, my mom calls. She never calls me. Like, never ever does she ever fucking call me. What are you doing? Just chilling. I'm gonna come over. Can I come over? I'm like, yeah, I guess come over. Go fuck. Come over. Let's go do lunch. Okay, damn. Just fucking ask me. Gotta fucking be all stern with me and shit. 34. What's wrong with you? She comes over, and I see this car, and it's like a Nissan, I'm currently driving a Nissan Sentra, and she tells me like, hey, drive it, check it out really quick. I'm thinking, man, please don't tell me, I didn't want to think about it. I was like, I'm just gonna drive this fucking car, fine. And she goes, how do you like it? I'm like, it's cool, it's all right. It has some pretty good get up. It's not bad. We drive, and her and her boyfriend are playing it off. Oh, your mom, she always needs to have a nice car and this and that. I'm like, yeah, not my mom's taste. It's not her fucking taste. This is pretty fucking basic. Like, I'll take this car. I'm saying? Like, I'll take it, but I know my mom's taste, man. My mom works. My mom works hard, man. My mom has not changed in the 30-something years I've been alive. My mom always wants the fucking best. You know what I mean? I mean, my best is like the name brand shit. You know what I mean? Like name brand. And if she's gonna get something, she's gonna make sure that shit's fucking decked out with options. This car was fucking basic. I'm not gonna fucking complain. So we're driving. I'm just driving. She goes, okay, you know what? This is for you and your family. I'm 34 years old, right? My mom's still trying to fucking look after me. And he tells me this car is yours. I fucking pull over. I fucking start crying. I fucking start bawling my fucking eyes out. I hug her. I'm thanking her. You know what I'm saying? Like, and ever since then, we've been able to do a lot of things because of this car. That's how my mom is. That's how she always is. My mom has 2 bum knees, still works 13, 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. And she's still trying to take care of her kids. I respect it, and I love her for it. I mean, and those are the type of things that I take from my mom. I have memories with my mom that are similar to those, and even those that are not that similar to those, but there's just something about the way that my mom was or is that makes me or has made me an overall stronger person. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to taking care of my family. Like, even to this day, I still take public transport. Sometimes I'll get lucky and I'll drop off, but it just gets really expensive to be dropped off where I need to be dropped off, even like a halfway point. It just gets really expensive with gas. So like lately I've been taking the bus for the most part about 2.5 hours each way. I get on the bus around, where I stay at. And it takes me about 2.5 hours to get to work. So 5 hours daily minimum. And if that's if I make my buses and my trains or my trams. It's 5 hours of the day going and coming home from work. It doesn't really bug me. I get tired of it, like physically, just because it's so physically tiring sometimes to just kind of have to be cautious about where I have to get off and stuff like that. And so physically I do get tired, but it helps me provide for my family. It helps take care of my family. It helps take care of my kid. It helps take care of my wife. It helps take care of a lot of things that we need to take care of. Not all of the things we need to take care of, just enough of the things we need to take care of. And that's something that, even though me and my mom haven't had like those aha moments or those moments that are just kind of like glaring and fun, my mom has done a lot to shape me into the person that I am, and even just the work ethic and the tenacity and like the shit that you have to do to never just be content with what you have and always strive for more. You know, I think the way that me and my mom differ in that sense is that when I do it, I don't do it for myself. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is like my mom got into a partnership to buy the house that my dad currently lives in, and she also bought a house that she lives in. They're nice houses. You know what I mean? They're not just like a house. They're nice houses. She puts love into it. She puts time into it. She has name brand appliances that she puts into it. Like, she spends money. You know what I mean? The cars that she drives, I think currently she drives a fucking Tahoe that's all fucking nice and decked out. That's a fucking $50,000-$60,000 truck that she's making payments on. You know what I mean? And you know, her boyfriend has a truck that's about the same price as the Tacoma. It's about a $40,000 truck. You know, you have $100,000 already in payments invested in fucking in vehicles. You know, that's who she is, and nothing wrong against it. If you work hard, especially coming from where she came from, you know, like growing up in El Salvador, not having shit, and you get to work, like fucking live life. You know what I'm saying? Like that's who she is. She wants to live her fucking life because she came out of essentially nothing to get what she has, and she's working for what she has. And if she wants it to be the nicest fucking thing, then she's earned that fucking right to do that. To do that. You know, but I'm the complete opposite. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got some nice stuff on. I'll wear some nice stuff. People always go like, damn, I like that shirt. I like those pants. I like those shoes. I get all that shit at fucking Ross. I get all that shit at Ross, boy. Ross be having the fucking heaters sometimes, man. You go in there and you're like, damn, they got some fucking nice jeans. They got some nice shirts. They got some fucking Jordans here. Like, I look at them like, what's wrong with these fucking Jordans? Why they cost fucking $40 here but $120 down the street? Sometimes they just overstock, or they just might have like some glue where they're not supposed to have glue. Like, look, man, I'm not enough of a shoe aficionado to really know or care about that shit. So if I see some fucking J's for $40, I'm buying some fucking J's for $40. You know, estilo a la Ross. You know, but when it comes to like my kid and his stuff, I mean, the one thing that I will splurge on is like electronic stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I will splurge on some headphones. I will splurge on like on my mic for this podcast. Like, I will splurge on shit like that because I don't believe in cheap electronics. But I also don't believe in fucking $60 jeans. So there's a nice balance, you know what I'm saying? So there's other shit where I do what my mom does. And it's like, okay, well, I have $300. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't been able to afford these yet, but I've been wanting to get them for like a long time now. The Sony 1000 XM3s, like noise canceling headphones. One day I'm gonna get those. I don't give a fuck. Anybody tells me one day I'm gonna fucking get those. I want those headphones. If they come out with XM4s, by the time I got the money, I'm gonna give me some fucking XM4s. But that's where, you know, like, that's where that's the part where I become my mom and go, you know what, fuck that. I work this many hours, I do this many things, I get this money back. Fuck that, I'm buying that shit for myself. And that's the part that I get from my mom. You know, and that's what makes, you know, my mom, and that's what makes me like my mom a lot. You know what I mean? And we share those personality traits a lot. As far as the worst experience I've ever had with my mom, I might be sharing a little bit too much, but you know what? I always said that I want to be honest with people. So I guess the worst. It was kind of like an ongoing experience, kind of, because my mom was the complete opposite of my dad when it comes to being open and discussing problems with the kids. My dad told me everything. My dad told me a bunch of stories about the shit that he did before, a lot of drug experiences that he's had, you know, drugs that he has done, shit that he has seen. Like, you know, my dad doesn't hide any fucking detail of his life for the most part. Like, there might be some shit I don't know about my dad, and that's fucking absolutely fine. But the things that he's told me, he's been, from what I know, 100% honest. Other stuff that he's told me, whether it's drug use, abuse, whatever the case may be, fights and shit like that. He's told me about. My mom, not so much. And like little by little as a kid, you start hearing shit that your mom says or does, and then you ask, I ask her about it, and she would just outright fucking deny it. I'm not gonna be one to call out my mom. But I guess the most painful one was, like when she left my dad. And that's something that I had seen coming. Just because ever since I was a kid, we had happy moments, right? And we had good times, we had great times, we had excellent times throughout the time they were together. But there was just always so much bickering going on between them that even as a kid I wondered, why the fuck are they together? They always seem to be fucking fighting. Like every weekend was always like a fucking trial of shit just going on. So so when they broke up, I saw it coming. I had seen it coming. I didn't think it was going to be like the way that it was. But she left my dad after 25, 26 years of being together, some shit like that. Has it really been that long? Let me see. My boy was, he was about 4 or 5. Brother was about 14, 15. He's 92. Maybe a little bit longer, about maybe 10, 12 years ago. 12, 10, whatever. We'll call it a decade. She left my dad and packed all her shit and left. I didn't know specifically why she left or how she left, but she bounced. And hold on. Sorry, I need some water. I don't know why she left. Well, I know why she left. I didn't know why she left at that time. A moment. And like she had been gone for a while. 3 months in, she doesn't really call me or really say much to me. She would come and pick up my brother and my sister because they were still fairly younger. I'm 10 years older than my brother, 12 years older than my sister. So, she would come and pick them up. And little by little, I'm hearing about this guy being with them in all these fucking places. Okay, so I'm thinking my mom already has somebody. And this kind of cycle kind of goes through, and I hear this dude's name all the time. I'm like, this nigga sounds fucking familiar. Gonna find out it was a dude that actually did the whole like remodel of the house. And she was flirting with him. So I knew about this maybe 6 months after she had left my dad, and how everything had rolled around. And my dad even got confronted by the dude's wife, baby's mom at the time. And she's still with him, so they've been together a cool decade now. And I don't have nothing against the dude, whatever. And in the words of my dad, is what you want is what you want. It's what you get. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the relationship is, and I'm not gonna say it's good or bad. I really don't fucking know. I don't see them enough to actually know like the relationship, but they've made it work for 10 years. So cool, more power to her. You know what I mean? And she has a house with this dude, so more power to her. And she's living a life that she wants with this guy. Fuck am I supposed to say? She's a grown woman. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. But she kept this hidden from me for like a cool 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? Like I kept hearing this dude's name, and and I would ask her about it. Nah, I'm not nobody. I'm not gonna leave the house to be with somebody else. Sure about that? You know, and it wasn't until they had problems and they had like their fucking, like one of their first blowouts. She came back into the house and she was gonna live in the fucking garage because she couldn't stand living with this dude no more. And it was at that point where she had told me, you know, everything, how everything transpired and how like it wasn't his fault that she left. And that was the first time that my mom was honest with me. But at the same time, like those 3 years or those 2 or 3 years, it was like, that's like the worst fucking thing. It was like, dude, why you playing me like a fucking fool? Like, I'm 20 something years old. Just fucking let me know. Tell me. Why are you trying to fucking, like, what the fuck do you think I'm gonna think about you? Where you can't tell me this shit as a fucking adult. You know, but my mom's she's always been that way with me. I don't know if she's been that way with my brother and my sister, but she's been that way with me more specifically throughout the years, where she just won't fucking front up to me. She won't be honest with me. You know, at least not at first. And I'm the complete opposite with her. I tell her. And if it hurts her feelings, like, there's nothing I can do about that. And that's the relationship that we have. Like, I can't, you know what I mean? Like, I won't be truthful with my mom. Because that was something that I wanted from her growing up. I wanted her to always be truthful with me, be honest with me about everything, and she never was. Or rarely was. You know, if it's something that she felt could hurt me or just she didn't want to tell me, she wouldn't fucking tell me. You know, so when it comes to, like, how we are now, I tell her everything. Be like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, remember when you told me this, Moito? Because she'll throw some shit on my face. Remember when you told me this? Yeah, I remember. You think I'm not working on this shit? I am, but what the fuck do you want me to do right now? I got my kid to worry about right now. You were not my kid. He is my kid. I got 4 more years of worrying about him full time, and then like 4 more years of worrying about him part time. You know what I'm saying? That's my child. I'll worry about you later. Straight. It sounds cold as fuck. It does. Everybody's like, damn, man, why you tell your mom shit like that? It's the fucking truth, man. I can't pretend to not. I can't pretend that, like, this is not taking a lot from me to just accomplish or to do. So I'm upfront with mom. Sometimes it hurts her feelings. She doesn't fucking like it, but, you know, it's the relationship that I've needed to develop with her for that sake. And, you know, we don't talk all that much as we would like. We have nothing really to talk about. But I love her. I love her to death. If she called me and said, hey, I might need you to kill somebody, I'd probably do it. You know, one of the few people, like, there's like a handful of people that I would do that for. But if she straight up fucking told me, like, hey, you want to go kill this dude with me? Or you want to go kill him? Let's roll. Do you have a plan? Because I don't want to get caught. Well, but I love my mom. It's just different, you know what I'm saying? But that's essentially what makes me me, in a nutshell. You know what I'm saying? The hardness and the honesty and everything else is kind of like a mixture of both of my parents and with a little bit of my own thrown into, you know, thrown in the mix, you know, because everybody has to develop their own way of doing some shit. Like, I'm not a carbon copy of my parents or anybody else, you know. But I do have a lot of traits I share with them, and I reflect a lot back on them, going like, damn, where the fuck did I pick this up from? Mom, dad, mom, this one's mine. Yeah, this is kind of like the branch that kind of comes off the master code. You know, but yeah, and then the hope is that my son takes all the good parts and even learns from the bad parts. I'm not saying I'm a perfect dad, because I'm fucking not. I'm far from fucking perfect. You know, but I hope that my kid can learn from my mistakes. As I'm honest with my kid about my mistakes and the shit that I've done to him and the shit that I've said to him and just the shit, you know, shit that I've reacted to when it's incorrect to react to it that way. You know, because I'll come in the middle of a conversation that he's having and I'll scold him or something. I haven't done it a lot lately, but when he was younger, you know, like, I would scold him and be upset. And I tell him, look, man, my bad. I'm sorry that I yelled at you for this moment because I came in the middle of it. I thought you were complaining about something else. So unless I'm there for like 99% of whatever is going on, like, you know what, I take no actions against him. I even tell him, like, look, bro, like, I'm not home. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I don't spend time with you. Like, whatever happens between this and that is between, you know, you and your mom for the most part. But if I'm around for some shit, you know, you gotta know that if I hear you pop off, I'm gonna pop off right back. Like, that shit's just not gonna fly. So it's always a combination, and I hope that the next generation learns a little bit more. Yeah. I guess that's it. I guess that's it for now. I mean, that's kind of just what makes me me. And I guess to reiterate on some of it, because I do want to, I guess I do want to end this on a fairly happy note, outside of like my kid winning yesterday. So Monday, so where I currently work at is, I currently work at Riot Games. I know I've been saying this for a while. I currently work at Riot Games. So anything that you've heard, or anything else, opinions of any games, any people, or any whatever, those are all mine. I work for Riot. I do not speak for Riot. This is all me, This is Mo banter. This is not Riot banter. This is not Riot affiliated in any sort of way. Whatever I say, the opinions that I share are all 100% my own, and no way connected to any place I ever worked, any place I've ever been, nothing of that sort. This is all 100% me. So I work at Riot currently, and the wife dropped me off at the train station, or at the Blue Line station. But I had the house keys in my pocket. Because I drove over there, she dropped me off, and then she drove back. She calls me, and she's like, "Do you have my keys?" And I look in my pocket, and I have her keys. I'm like, fuck! I'm just like, oh my God, I'm feeling like shit because she can't get into the house. Kid has a doctor's appointment, like all this shit needs to happen like in the next like 4 hours, and like I won't be home for like another 6, maybe 7, depending on, actually no, it would have been longer than that because I went in later that day. So yeah, it would be a little bit later than that. I told her, like, can you drive down? Do you want to drive down? She goes, yeah, I guess I have no choice. She's irritated, obviously, man. Like, I'll be fucking irritated too. You know what I mean? Like, she's irritated, I understand. I told her, drive down. The cool thing about Riot is they have a lot of employee perks. One of them being that we get Asahi Bowls. Unlimited Asahi Bowls free. So, like after they come, I call my son, like, oh shit, like, I'm like, hey, call me when you're 10, 15 minutes out so I can walk across the street, get me some Asahi Bowls. I'll get all 3 of us Asahi Bowls. Like that, you guys, because they hadn't eaten at the time either because they couldn't get to the house. They dropped me off, whatever. And they're like, okay, cool. So, he calls me, hey, Dad, GPS says we're like 10 minutes out. Okay. Walk across the street. Go put in the order for Asahi Bowls. They come in. They don't know how to get in. Tell them where to park. We park. And we're in the middle of the we're not in the middle of the street, but we're on the curbside in front of the Riot office at a parking spot. I'm there with 3 Asahi Bowls. They come in. We go in. We just started eating Asahi Bowls. This was the first time that they had been there with me to enjoy a meal. And it wasn't really a meal. It was more like a treat. But regardless of how that moment occurred, it meant so much to me. When I started doing this, I never thought that I would get experiences like this. And as simple as this sounds, it's just like little by little, it's the little things that you can make out of situations that tends to mean the most. And maybe I'm getting softer because I'm just getting older, and like I said, like, kids just make you soft in general. But my kid was out of school that day because he was having joint problems with his knees. Just pains. I'm not sure what the pains were. It's nothing serious, thankfully. But he was out of school that day. We're in the back seat, just eating Asahi Bowls, chilling. And I go, man, like, this is pretty fucking awesome. I'm glad that they, I'm not glad that I had to make him come out there to do this, but I go, you know what, this is fucking awesome. And then, start thinking about little shit, because I worked at Blizzard 2 years before I started working here at Riot. 2 years, yeah. I worked at Blizzard for 4.5 years, and I got to go to BlizzCon for 5. I got to go to BlizzCon for 5 times. 5 years? Yeah, for 5 years in a row. I worked there 4.5 years, but the moment that I came in, I got to experience 5 BlizzCons. I got to take my kid my nephews, his friends, my wife, my brother once. I got to experience these things. And those are the moments that, regardless of how life works, or how much I might have hated my job, or how much I didn't want to deal with it, either because of financial issues, or I just didn't see any professional growth there. Like, those are the moments that sometimes, like, out of all this shit that you hate, that you have to go through sometimes, knowing that you're going somewhere, there's little moments like that are possible. Those mean the world to me. Those are the memories I go, what was the best memory you have of being at Blizzard? Like, look, man, I love the people there. Like, don't get me twisted. I love the people there. I loved going over there, joking with people, getting the work done. But the best moment I have of working at Blizzard is being at BlizzCon with my son and with my brother. We saw Metallica play. This was my kid's first, like, rock concert. And being there with my brother too also helped me. Not help me, but it made that moment feel that much more special, because one of the first concerts that I ever took my little brother to was an Incubus concert, and not an Incubus concert. We took him to go meet Incubus, and we took him to a concert at the Best Buys in Westminster to go see the Used play. And that was like one of the first moments I had with my brother. I was like taking him to go watch the Used play, and he was about my son's age when we took him, and I still remember that day. Because I didn't want to wake up, but he wanted to go, so he kept trying to wake me up, and he kept pestering me and like, Mo, we're gonna be late. I'm like, damn, man, they don't play until 5:00. Mo, we have to go line up. And I'm like not wanting to get up, but he's just fucking pestering until I got up, and he knew, like, yeah, I knew I was gonna get punched, but fuck it, man, we need to come to Best Buy. But we go watch the Used play, and that's probably it was probably a story for another day. But like that was a concert that I took him to. And him being there with me while I'm taking my kid, like, that was the best moment I had at Blizzard. Like, there was other moments that happened at BlizzCon that were really good moments, and even some that were really excellent. But the best moment my best memory of Blizzard is that moment. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how I felt after 4 years of being there, and just financial aspects weren't working out, professional aspects weren't working out, being able to work at a place, being able to work hard enough to work at a place where a moment like that was possible, that shit is G'd up, man. Like, that shit is cool. I loved the people there, but just that place wasn't meant for me at this point, professionally or financially. But that moment will live on, in my mind, until it doesn't. But I loved it, and it's just those little ass moments where I just think about, like, damn, like, this is fucking crazy. And there's other moments that I've had, thanks to Blizzard, that were more fulfilling personally. Maybe we'll talk about those later. I don't know. If you would like to hear them, you can email me at mobanter at moebanter podcast at gmail.com. That's Mobanter Podcast. But having my kid and my wife come down so we can have acai bowls at Riot, like the street that Riot lays on, was like one of the most, that was like one of the best fucking experiences I've ever had. And it's crazy because, I had to go in there because, I didn't put them on the guest list, so I had to go in there, order these things, and we had to eat them, like, in the car so they can get back. And it was like, man, this is fucking nuts, though. This is fucking crazy. I liked it. Is it the best moment? Probably. You know what I mean? I've learned a lot while working there in the short, almost 3 months that I've been there. I learned a lot. But that is the moment that right now is defining that whole place, and it's a nice one. I like that memory. I enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, just life. You know what? I want to share this with everybody, just because I shared it with a few people, and It was this thing that's on Twitter, and I don't even know if Bruce Lee actually said it, but I love Bruce Lee. Like I love Bruce Lee. Like some of the things that I hear him say on YouTube and video, just like like his philosophies in life, I like. And the one that always gets me is if you guys ever seen it on YouTube, is the one where he talks about water. He's like, be water. Like when you put water in the cup, it becomes the cup. When you put it in the teapot, it becomes the teapot. And just that whole flow of like, be water, be malleable to your surroundings. You know what I'm saying? Always don't try to force anything. Just kind of go with the flow. Water, be water. And the last half of that part after the teacup is all me. That's what I took from it. I mean? The first two lines are his, or at least paraphrasing his lines. But, I always take that into account when it comes to life. You know what I'm saying? Always just live in the situation that you're in. It's not always going to be fucking perfect. You may not want to be there, but sometimes you have to make the best of a bad situation. And that's what I've been able to actually do. So this comes from an Instagram part. Is 9 to 5 motivation, and it has Bruce Lee. And if you're on the YouTube page, that's what it looks like. Or on the YouTube channel, that's what it looks like. I just showed it. And it reads, every situation in life is temporary. So when life is good, make sure you enjoy and receive it fully. And when life is not good, remember that it will not last forever. Better days are on the way. And I guess for this whole podcast and the whole story, that's all I want to say is to you guys out there. Life is not always going to be great. And even if you've gone through years of fucking hardship, years of fucking bullshit, like, I honestly don't know what that feels like, to be honest. I've gone through some bullshit, and for the most part, it's been like through months. And it's not even like ancient history. It has been more recent, where like life just doesn't seem to fucking be heading in the right direction for me. But we're all capable of handling what's thrown on our plate. This has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with God. If you're the type that believes that, then by all means keep believing it. If you believe that all these things are God's challenges for you, and that's the way you approach it, and that's the way you get through them, by all means, nothing wrong with that. Do it. But for everybody else who doesn't believe in higher entity, and you believe your life is shit, and you have the worst of luck, that is life. Unfortunately, that is life. Some people just get it worse than others for the most part. But just keep fighting through it. Just fight through it. Get through it. I'm not saying I'm the perfect example of this, but there's been many times in my life where I just felt like I'm done. Like, I'm fucking done with this shit. Like, I can't do this shit no more. But you keep pushing, you keep doing what you have to do, you keep striving to go forward, and little by little, luckily, I don't know through what graces in life, I've had people watch my back, have my back, and help elevate me to be better, to do better. And while things are not like the best, they're way better now than they would have been 10 years ago. They're way better now than they were 8 years ago. Matter of fact, the shit that I have going on for me now are way better than I had as early as 6 months ago. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know if you give up. You don't know if you don't keep trying. You will never know true joy if you've never had to struggle for it. And I know that sounds fucking completely asinine, that you don't know what good is until you experience bad. But in my life, that's the way it's always been. Like, I really wouldn't know what hardship is if I grew up in a rich family. Either until we went completely broke, or I experienced that somehow on my own. My life hasn't always been great. And like I said, there's been moments in my time I'm like, I'm just done with this shit. but we keep pushing. I keep pushing. I keep striving. I keep wanting better for myself. And like I said, through some sort of fucking graces, life, God, religion, spirituality, whatever is out there for me that's taking care of me has made this energy come back to me. I've had some really fucking outstanding moments, and moments that, you know, like I try to pass those forward to other people. And I try to mentor them and tell them, like, hey, you know what, just keep at it, bro. Just keep at it, sis. Whatever the case may be, let's just keep pushing. Just go through it. Good moments will come. I like to think I helped some people out. I think I have. I'm not looking for credit, you know, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, look at me. No. It's not that. It's just that the mentality is sometimes that people can't help other people because their life's in the shitter, and that's a complete fallacy. I will never hate on anybody for being able to have the abilities that I don't have, or to be able to make more than I have. If I feel like I can help you achieve the next goal in your life, I will help you. Because I'm confident and not expecting that the energy that I put out there that's positive, that it one day will come back to me when I need it. And I will be blessed. But not because I hit up people for favors. Like, remember when I told you could do this? So how about you hook me up? No. It's just, I guess if you want to call it something as simplistic as karma, it's karma. I try to be as good as possible to the people around me, to help elevate them so that I can elevate myself. You know, I'm trying to make it so that people have some confidence in themselves. And I really don't know where the fuck I'm going with this. It's just, just push forward and be positive. And when shit seems to be the foulest, don't give up. Just keep going. I know that shit is fucking hard. I know that shit is just, sometimes it's too much to fucking handle. But you keep pushing. One day, 1 month, 1 week, 1 hour. I don't know when you'll find it, but you'll get that moment where you go, holy fuck, this is fucking great. And yes, your trials and your tribulations are probably way worse than I've had to fucking encounter, suffer through, or experience. I'm not trying to compare them. You know, in some cases, I've had trials and tribulations that are far greater than somebody, you know, that hasn't experienced what I've experienced. And again, it's not for comparisons. It's just, this is how life goes sometimes. Life is not fair. Some people will be born rich. Some people will be born poor as fuck. And through no fault of their own. This is life's RNG. You know what I mean? But just keep pushing forward. And if you want better for yourself, you will get better for yourself. But you need to work for it by yourself. Nobody's going to fucking hand you a perfect life. Nobody. You go out there and you fucking get that shit. The life that you want is capable of. You're capable of actually getting. At any given time, you are capable of actually getting that shit. If you work hard enough and you want it bad enough. I found myself in the cusp of liking where I'm at, but it's still not enough for me. I still have more I need to push. At 36 years old, there's still so much more I have to learn and so much more I have to do to get to where I want to be. I'll get there. If I get there when I'm 40, fucking great. If I get there when I'm 45, 50, I don't give a fuck when I get there, but I will get there eventually. And if you feel you need some help along the way and you want to just get some shit off your chest and see, again, maybe I'm not the best person, but I'm here. Feel free to throw me out an email, man. And if I get emails, especially right now, because there's nothing in the inbox, you know, we can talk about these things and hopefully I can help you. And the email is mobanterpodcast, moebanterpodcast@gmail.com. I'm always open for that. I'm always willing to hear and help people out. Yeah, and with that, This is episode number 10, and this is what makes me me, I guess, in a nutshell. Trying to keep it all high level. I don't want all that granularity. Because we can go into a lot of stuff, into like where I learned specific things, and it's just like, yeah, it's too much. I don't want to go through that shit. Bore myself talking about that shit. But again, if you want to hear it, the email is mobanterpodcast, moebanterpodcast @gmail.com. Thank you all for listening so much. Every single listen honestly means so much to me, and again, this wasn't really meant to be anything else other than just me vocalizing and letting other people know, like, hey man, you're not alone. You know what I mean? We're all on Earth at the same time, and some of us have it better than others, and some of us are going through the same shit as other people. We just don't know. But yeah, take care of yourselves. Grind it out. Live life to the fullest. Don't ever quit. Just keep pushing. Eventually, you'll get out of it what you want out of it because you worked for it, and it'll feel fucking amazing. But until next time, thank you guys once more. I love y'all. Love, peace, chicken grease. And I'll see you guys next time.